Greetings, family, and welcome to another edition of Black Talk Radio, where black media matters and black life definitely matters. Today is Wednesday, 8/8/8. That's August 8th, 2018. Family, this video is about Italy, and if you have plans on ever going, I'd suggest you think twice. This video is about the violent racist attacks that are becoming routine in Italy since the post-election. We'll get more into the details. Let's go right to the story. Family, on Thursday in Naples, 32-year-old Senegalese street vendor Sissi El-Hadji Daibil was about to collect his wares and go home when he was shot 3 times by two strangers on a scooter by the central train station. Now, before I continue in the story, let's just be clear that this picture right here is of a Malian chef. His name is Bouyaki Konate, himself an attack victim. He stands in the Naples Road where the Senegalese vendor Cissé Diable was shot on August 2nd. So this isn't the person that I was just mentioning who was shot, the 32-year-old. This is someone else, but yet another victim. But anyways, let's continue. One of the bullets hit his femur, for which he has undergone surgery. Another missed him. The third is now lodged in the phone he was carrying in his pocket. While gun and gang violence have long marred Naples, alarm bells are ringing over the rapid rise in racist assaults. There are alarm bells ringing. At least 33 across the country in the past 2 months, according to Italian weekly L'Espresso. In another attack on June 11th, 2 Malian refugees living in a migrant center near Caserta, a city north of Naples, were also shot at from a vehicle. The victims told local media that the shooters had shouted slogans in support of Matteo Salvini, Italy's new interior minister and leader of the far-right League Party, who won support in the March 4th election. So who is this Matteo Salvini, Italy's new interior minister and leader of the far-right League Party? Let's see who that person is. And of course, you know, anytime we're talking about racism, we're usually talking about white people. Well, this is Italy's interior minister, Matteo Salvini. He's rallied against immigration and ethnic minorities. In what is now almost a routine, migrant and diaspora communities organize protests every time there is a violent assault to demonstrate against racism. Did you just hear that, family? Yeah, well, just in case if you missed it, I'm going to repeat it one more time so you can understand what's happening here. It says, in what is now almost a routine, migrant and diaspora communities organize protests every time there's a violent assault to demonstrate against racism. In other words, because they live in a whole nother part of the world, they are repeating exactly what we've been doing here in America, and it shouldn't be that way. We should be communicating and helping each other. That means black first worldwide. That means that our brothers in Africa or wherever they're at in the world shouldn't be struggling any more than what we are. We should all be fighting against European supremacy or white supremacy. We should all be fighting against white tyranny. We should all be fighting against global white tyranny. But nonetheless, when you hear things like they organize protests every time there's a violent assault to demonstrate against racism, they're protesting. They're doing all the things we've been doing, and that solves nothing. And that's my point, is that they should not be doing something that doesn't work. We should be communicating and understanding and trying to work out solutions to end global white tyranny, or what we term as white supremacy. We should be working on those solutions already. And They shouldn't be out there protesting each and every time. They should be doing something much more that is working, that will work to end it, period. And what we're doing simply doesn't work. Those demonstrations that those people in Italy are doing simply will do nothing. That's my point. But I digress. Buyagi Konate, a 22-year-old chef from Mali, pictured here, was among those who rallied after Sisse El Hadji Diable was hit. On June 20th, he himself was hit in the stomach by a pellet fired from an air gun by men he didn't know in a passing car. Quote, so far there's no news on the investigation, unquote, Konate told Al Jazeera, speaking of his own experience. Quote, if they were actually looking, they would have found them. It's full of cameras on that street. If they'd been caught and prosecuted, the same things wouldn't keep happening, unquote. Well, exactly, my brother, you are exactly right. Because that's a problem that we're having and experiencing here in America, black man. We have cameras all over the place, but yet the white police officers tell everybody that they can't find the culprits. Isn't that a coincidence? And brother man, where you're at in Italy, I bet you that if you guys have any type of gun laws, that the majority of people who have these guns are 9 times out of 10 gonna be white people. So when you tell me that you're having and experiencing these issue of drive-by shootings and people shooting at black people 9 times out of 10, you can best believe it's done by white people. And that's in Naples. I'm not talking about Chicago. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, in Italy, since the age of 17, Konate, who speaks perfect Italian, attended a chef training course, opened a restaurant in the city center with a group of refugees, and took part in a TV culinary talent show. His next project is a multicultural food truck that will tour Italy. He said he has noticed a shift in attitudes in the past few months. Well, my brother, let me just tell you this. While you're sitting there touring Italy, just remember you are in a European country. And since you are aware of what's going on, be careful. Maybe you might want to travel with some other companions for security and protection. But nonetheless, here you are in Italy speaking perfect Italian, still getting attacked. And attacked by who? White people. But see, if you lived in Chicago, they'd say, oh, it's black on black crime. It's black people doing it. Even though they wouldn't have any faces to prove it. Because see, here in America, that's how they do it. They say in Chicago it's black on black crime, but yet they can't show you any other black faces who's doing it. They have no witnesses, nothing to go on but clear words. And what's so cold about it is that the white racists here in America, they repeat that bull. They repeat it every day. Brother man, black man, they repeat it to me, you, they repeat it to all of us every day. That it's black on black crime, but they don't have any proof of that. But it sounds good to them. Anytime there's some murders in Chicago, they'll blame it on black people. But if you look around, though, the majority of people who have guns in America, they are white. But they'll swear that it's us. But yet, they are the majority gun owners, but they'll swear it's us. Very interesting, but let's continue. Quote, the atmosphere has changed since the election campaign, which was done at the expense of migrants, talking about an invasion and migrants stealing Italians' jobs, unquote, Konate said. And the person propagating this is a public figure, a politician now in power, he added, referring to Salvini. Quote, there were attacks before, but now they're using guns. we're a step up, unquote. Salvini, who is also co-deputy prime minister, has denied ships carrying refugees and migrants docking rights at Italian ports and called for a census in order to deport Roma without citizenship. But claims of a racism problem in Italy are, quote, an invention of the left, unquote, he has said, explaining that Italians are tired. So let's pause for a minute on that. What does that mean? He says that the claims of racism problem in Italy are an invention of the left, and then he explains that by saying Italians are tired. They always have this double talk, this backwards way of communicating that makes no sense only to them, and it's code talk for how they can become uncivilized to the rest of humanity. It doesn't make sense to regular human beings, but these creatures, they find a way to communicate in odd kinds of ways and say funny style things that don't make sense, that have nothing to do with righteousness or godliness at all. It's a double talk. They speak with forked tongue. The Indians warned us of that. Did we listen? No. As a matter of fact, the bed wenches and the bed bucks, or whatever you want to call them, black men who sleep with white men and women, you guys are all sick. These are the people that plot to kill you, and you plot to sleep with them. That's an interesting concept. They plot to kill you, you plot to sleep with them. Very interesting. Do you see the mental disability there? The mental retardation there? The problem with this? No, I bet you don't. The story continues that Italy's other deputy prime minister, the five-star movement's Luigi Di Maio, is equally as dismissive. He has said that, quote, there is no such thing as a racism emergency, unquote, in recent interviews. Well, I don't know what they mean in Italy as a racism emergency. Maybe the fact that racism is emerging fast in Italy. Maybe that's what they mean by as a racism emergency. Well, that is an emergency. What it's telling you is that you're sinking. You're going backwards. You're degressing. You're not progressing. You are going backwards. You're devolving, not evolving. Understand this. You're going backwards. That's what's happening. Grazia Nel Leto, who heads the anti-racist watchdog Chronic di Ordinaro Razzismo, Chronicles of Ordinary Racism, part of the NGO Linaria, says it is difficult to keep track of racially motivated violence. Quote, racist violence reported by the media is only a part of it, including verbal violence. Often, victims don't come forward, and when these episodes appear in the local media, they are often reported as case of ordinary violence. The racist motive is sometimes not mentioned, Naleto told Al Jazeera. In other words, and I'm going to pause right here on that point. In other words, black folks, right here in America, how they do here, where they won't even bring up the racial aspect of a situation. They won't bring up the fact that the police officer was, oh, they do here in America. They will tell you that the police officer was white and the victim is black. Well, because they do it so often and we hear it so much. I mean, they're used to saying it, so it's becoming normal. But anyways, I guess in Italy they leave that out. You know how the white media does. They're very conniving and they don't tell the truth. Not the whole truth anyway. So that's basically what they're saying, is that the media is notoriously known for leaving out the racist motive in these situations. And we're not surprised, though. Black man, we're not surprised. Even so, Lunaria keeps a record of racist incidents and violence and publishes regular reports. That's very good. Black people are being organized enough to do these things. That's good. From January 1st to March 31st, the organization counted 169 incidents ranging from physical violence to someone being refused medical assistance by a doctor based on the victim's ethnicity. In other words, white people, we are charging you with racism for being so low like an animal, to think so low like a vermin, to think so low as to treat people by the color of their skin and not as a human being. You are sick. Now, family, listen to this part, because this part is definitely in the story. It says, police do not regularly publish hate crime statistics in Italy. Now, isn't that funny? Because that's what happens here in America. In other words, black man, black woman, white people are treating black people the same way all over the globe. We are not doing anything about it besides some frickin' protests just to remind them of what they're doing. Are you kidding me? And you guys wonder why we have some of our women out here clowning men. You guys hate Sinji, well, some of you anyways. You hate Sinji because she challenges your manhood and challenges you to stand up and fight against this. And what do? But I digress. In 2016, OSCE's Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, ODIHR, which monitors hate crime among participating countries, reported 803 as recorded by police, with the majority based on racism and xenophobia. But numbers don't tell the full story. Victims who are not Italian citizens or regular residents may refrain from reporting to the police out of a fear of being identified and eventually deported. So in other words, a lot of incidents don't even get reported because the immigrant or the migrant does not want to get deported. They don't want to be identified and deported. So they oftentimes don't even report racist incidents that happen. So again, this has happened in Italy. And black folks, you want to go there? Crazy. That's stupid. So they say the police have downplayed the racism motive in previous attacks. A notable example is the killing of Senegalese street vendor Idi Dain in Florence a day after the Italian election. Wow, so a lot of these killings started right after Salvini got elected. And again, he's like their Trump. So when you get these haters in office who hate, the normal people or you think they're normal, they start hating along with their leader. They follow the leader. And so none of these people are normal. I don't know why I used that word. I didn't mean to use it. That was the wrong wording to use. Definitely, they are far from normal. But anyways, police quickly ruled out racism. But the Senegalese and Muslim communities were not convinced. Prosecutors talked about futile motives, arguing the attacker had chosen a random target after giving up on the idea of committing suicide. So basically, this dumb ass prosecutor said that, arguing that the attacker had chosen a random target after giving up the idea of committing suicide and killing themselves, they decided to kill a black person instead. Basically is what the prosecutors are saying. You guys, I don't know if you've studied history, but if you've ever studied the history of South Africa, you find out that the white people, the devils that are there, the different crimes that they committed on black people, and the actual reasons that they used of how the black person died, they tried to make it seem like the black person committed suicide by dumb shit. They tied their shoestrings too tight or some shit like that. They would say, I mean, these are devils. Devils who do that. They are devils. But anyways, it says, quote, what we have found not only in the past few weeks, but since the beginning of the year, is that there have been several cases of violence that have unfolded with the same dynamics. Now, Naleto said, quote, a street aggression by a small group of people in a car that stops and they pick a black person as a target or someone near a reception center. So basically they end up picking black targets out to kill. This is in Italy. So again, I don't know if you have family members, but I have heard family members and friends who are black say that when they get money, they want to go tour and they want to go to Europe. Well, you mofos are stupid. You're dumb. You guys go to Europe and get shot. Go to Italy. They seem to like you kind of black folks. Anyways, I'm gonna end it off there. This is Guru at Black Talk Radio, where black media matters. Don't forget to subscribe and join us in the next video. Take care. I'm done. Peace out.